They just gave me a feeling and imagery, which I think was the best yet. I'm going to try to put words around it where it's like relationships can be challenging, right? Especially if we both have a lot of healing to do. Yet, if the intention is to heal, to love oneself, to know each one is worthy and good, and each one does know they're worthy and good, and they know they have like layers to shed, or however you want to say it, like healing to do, this kind of thing, then it makes it more enjoyable and fun and lovable and easier. It's easier that way. So, because we've talked about like vibrational match and all these things, and all of that I think is really important. Yet I think, unfortunately, with that, it also comes with people thinking then they're not good enough or not worthy or not whatever. And that defeats the purpose, right? Like everybody they have to know it themselves, which means they have to do that work themselves. But if they love themselves and honor themselves enough, they're going to do that work. And oh God, I am having a hard time putting words around this, because as I'm putting words around it, I don't know that it's going to come out right, because they were showing like somebody who technically was at a higher vibration than the other person, but they loved one another. And the person at the higher vibration was willing to assist the person at the lower vibration, but only because the person at the lower vibration recognized they were worthy and recognized they had work to do and was willing to do such and was making the effort to do such, right? Like it was, again, this could all be the wrong words, but it gave that gist. More or less, that was the feeling that, and the imagery that was coming through was this idea of awareness of the variation. It was like awareness of the variation of vibration, but both of them were consciously choosing that option to get on the same page, which means they're both going to have work to do too, because if the person, quote, just for visual, like at the lower vibration, the less than, almost takes too long to catch up, it could inadvertently make the person at the higher vibration technically start to lower, but also get a big head, like get inflation, which in the ego, which is going to lower that vibration, but it's then going to keep each partner stagnant and stuck, right? And confused and upset. And so it is a fine dance and fine balance. And it's like each person has to continually balance each day and do better each day to be in alignment with themselves, to love themselves and to stay in that alignment, because in doing so, that's how unconditional love can fill them more. And the more unconditional love fills them, the more it can appear that they're helping the other. And they are, because they're doing the work of staying in alignment. But and each person has to do their own work. But you can see the example up close and personal, right? Because if you're staying in alignment and being more filled with unconditional love, what's going to come out of your mouth and how you're going to respond and behave with the other is going to be with more loving kindness. But it can be a slippery slope where you can get confused and think it's you that's being so loving and kind. It's like, no, technically you're being loving and kind to yourself to have God fill you. And then you can be that example for the other person up close and personal, and they can feel it and sense it. But then they have to do their own work to want to be their best selves, to also be flooded with unconditional love. And so it was interesting, because to me it's almost new verbiage, or it's a different take or understanding. Maybe it's a different take or understanding on why people do the things they're going to do or get in the relationships they're going to get into. It's like if you're going to do that, it's almost like you damn well better be careful. It's like you better really love yourself. You have to ask yourself first and foremost, is that loving yourself? Is it loving yourself? Is it what your truest heart's desire wants? Like, do you really feel that ping? Is that ping truly, do you see what I'm saying? Like it's, yeah, you know how I feel about it. It's a slippery, slippery slope. And I think that's why it's important that you ask yourself the right questions and make sure you're always in alignment before making any big decision. All that aside, it was showing that there are times that people do choose that. They keep saying the heart wants what the heart wants, or you can't help. I don't know if they said who you love or what you love, or maybe they're saying both, who and what. Maybe they're saying who and what you love or something. Maybe. I mean, I don't know. Maybe that's something I have to look at and analyze with them, because I think it's argumentative. But yeah, it's definitely debatable. Yeah, because is it loving to you, right? Or is it the illusion that you're feeding into? And I think that's really, really important. Here's why I think it's dangerous and slippery. If you haven't been listening, it's important to hear this. If you have, you already know it's dangerous and slippery, right? Because it is. Why are you doing that, right? I don't know that is loving and kind to you, and because if you go sliding down that slide in hopes to then grab the other person's hand, walk around the corner, and walk up the ladder again, there's a good chance by the time you get to the bottom of the slide to grab the other person's hand, they're going to say, get off of me, or no, let's just stay down here. Look, it's so much fun swimming in this mud. Come on. It's harder to get out of that mud. And then you're going to doubly beat yourself up because you chose to go down that slide. So not only are you in the mud that you don't want to be in, but now you're holding that person's hand who is refusing to get up. And they've had so much mud caked on them, they're almost like cement. And they won't let go of your hand. And you chose to slide down there. So now you're sliding down there. You're attached to somebody who has cement caked on them and they're in the mud. And you can't get up and out. So you're screaming bloody murder and devastated and upset that you can't get out. But it was you who chose to go down the slide. So it's like the double punch. I can't get out and it's all my fault. Fuck. So yeah, be very, very careful. Very, very careful. Choose wisely. Choose you. You have to choose you. This is why it's tricky, right? You're like, I think I am choosing me. I want that. That outside yourself, that's not you. That doesn't match you. That's an illusion. Do you see? It can be tricky. It really can. You can trick and manipulate yourself to convince yourself to take the less than. Right? It is that demon inside of you trying to keep you down, weigh you down, convince you otherwise. Oh boy. Because if you're connected to your higher self is always going to steer you to choose you and choose what's going to honor you, choose you, what's going to take you to your highest and best. And doing that is filling your own buckets from the inside out, loving yourself fully and completely, honoring yourself, being around others that are also doing that, loving themselves, honoring themselves, taking the steps and measures to live their best life, right? Not falling prey to the less than, not falling prey to the instant. Yeah, interesting. I'm saying it's interesting because now I forget all the visual and feeling that was coming through, but as you can hear, it's a little contradictory, which would imply that it was the devil inside of me showing and projecting that original imagery, right? Because as we're talking it through, I'm saying, what are you talking about? But maybe that's because of what I've been through, right? In other words, what it was originally showing was the idea of consciously choosing. There are people who are consciously choosing Oh, right. That's okay. Thank you. That's true. They are saying that's not what they said. They're saying what they had said was they're consciously choosing because the person at the quote, and just for visualization purposes, is at a lower vibration, is actively working towards a higher vibration, is actively working towards loving themselves more and understanding and learning what that truly means. And so in doing such, it's the person at the quote higher vibration who loves themselves more, who holds a larger capacity to love oneself and in turn have unconditional love fill them more. So the higher that vibration is recognizing the effort and the continual consistent effort of that person loving themselves, and they love that person and desire to be in said dynamic. So everybody's consciously choosing and continuously making that work and effort. And then the person of the higher vibration will continue to do their work of loving themselves and filling with unconditional love. So at any point, if the person at the lower vibration stops making the effort, or no longer it's consistent, or chooses to give up, or chooses to be like, forget it, in other words, we're all going to slip and slide. But if it's like obvious that they've not only slipped and slide, but they're now swimming down there and God knows when they'll get back up, the person at the higher vibration is like, got it. Well, I've taken you as far as I can take you, right? And you've chosen what you've chosen, and I choose me. So as long as they stay aligned, it'll be easier to say bye-bye. But I guess that's where they were having me deviate earlier. But if you're not consistently loving yourself, honoring yourself, checking in with yourself, moving from your alignment, being true and honest with yourself, then if you go getting in those dynamics and that person slips and slides, you're more likely to slip and slide, and good luck getting back up. You know how hard it was for you to get yourself in alignment. Are you going to take that risk? Are they worth you taking that risk? And I don't mean it in the way we use worthy all the time. In other words, everybody's worth it, and they have to do their own work to know they're worth it. And you've done your work to know you're worth it, and you've worked really hard to get there. So is that lower vibration of much of a variance that it's worth the potential risky, sticky situation? And another way to say it is, how strong are you in your worth and in loving you? Because the stronger you are, and if you're rock solid, then it is easier to pick and choose and move along. And so it's not necessarily risky for you at all, because you're not leaving your alignment. So it's no problem to up and leave. Yet, it's like, is that tested, tried, and true, right? Because I will tell you, there have been many a times where I am strong and I am able to part ways, I am able to move along, but there have been plenty of times where I haven't been, or I thought I was, right? And only to ultimately in the end, I always am strong enough, but it's almost like I make it more challenging on myself than necessary, right? Because had I loved myself from the jump and honored myself from the jump, I wouldn't have had to go through all that fuss and struggle and fight, right? So it's like still engaging in the drama. And that's what I think we have to be really, really careful of. You know, how healed are you, right? Because the more healed we are, the less engaged we are in the drama. But the more unhealed we are, the less we recognize the drama, because we are the drama. We're participating in the drama. So we're not as aware of it. We're engaged in it. It's the comfort zone, so we're blind to it. It's the normalcy, right? The more you're hurt, unhealed, not loving you, not standing in your truth, not knowing your worth, then you're living in the comfort zone of the opposite, the chaos, the drama, the opposing, and it's familiar to you. So you can't see what's right in front of your face because it's part of your world. Okay. Thanks so much for tuning in and listening. You can now purchase an audio journey with me using the link below.